Good morning, Sales Academy followers, peoples, Twitterers, tweeters, LinkedIners, TikTokers. You know the crackers. This morning's musing is it might get a little bit Samuel L. Jackson. All right. So I make no apologies for that because you guys know I swear like a fishwife and I say please and thank you like a saint. So I'm complex. There we go. Have it. It's out there. The reason it may get a little bit Samuel L. Jackson is it matters that much, right? So today's musing is about chalking your lines. Chalking your lines. I mean, like with a big piece of chalk, the boundaries, the lines, chalk them and re-chalk them and re-chalk those motherfucking lines, because life is all about coming up to your lines and rubbing them out and just like scuffing them with your feet, other people's feet, scuffing them and just easing them away and blurring those lines. And sometimes it's people just like bounding right over the top of it and just claiming and re-chalking their lines. And sometimes it's the fact that we've just never bloody chalked them in the first place. And it always feels like conflict. It always feels like a potential for conflict. Speaking up, standing up, owning our space, stating what's important to us, stating what matters, but also stating the whole kind of, this is my space. I remember, go back to training in as a prisoner custody officer and stuff, and the control and restraint techniques you get trained to how to deal with people and all that sort of stuff. You don't just go in with riot gear and crack on and stuff. And my friends in the police and stuff, I always remember the get back, stay back. And we used to laugh and joke about it and stuff like that. It's like, how useful is that, right? Get back, stay back. You kind of, your body language and everything, but you hold it up and you're like, get back, stay back. But actually, if you think about the simplicity of those pre-conflict messages, they are literally putting out the energy, the clarity, the information to the world to go, this is my safe space. And I'm asking you to step away. I'm asking you to respect this safe space. And I'm asking you to hear it, understand it, feel it, and appreciate it and respect it. And if you, whatever you choose to do next, if you choose to keep coming, then you need to be able to be prepared to take the consequences of your actions. It's not the consequences of my actions, it's the consequences of your actions, because you've been given a warning, you've been given a red flag, but you ignored it, right? So chalking those lines are vitally important. And I see this a lot, I hear this a lot, I feel this a lot. And I remember as a young kid, I don't know if you ever grew up in the country, but we grew up in a little village, and there were lots of council fields and football fields and green areas and stuff like that. Like, so we were blessed, in lots of ways. But the council would come and mow them in the summer. And what we would do as kids, once the council would come and mowed them all, they'd leave the grass there, which was brilliant, because we'd then make massive, great big grass mountains and we'd jump into it and stuff like that. It would be itching for days and it would be in your face and everything, but it didn't matter. And one of the things we did, I always remember, we used to get the grass piles and we'd kind of line out the house. We'd almost draw out the foundations of a house, a property on this massive field, which was our house. And we'd be in the land of make-believe at this time, right? But we'd make this house, and this is the bedroom, and this is the living room, and this is how big the kitchen, and this is my space stuff, and I'd invite you in, and blah. And you'd all make these grass houses, or what we would anyway. We'd make these grass houses on the field, and then at some point you look around and somebody's like moving your grass and lifting your grass and kind of taking it to theirs because they want more grass, or they've used your line as part of their line. You're like, hang on a sec, this is my space. And I'm using that kind of childhood memory because it mattered back then. It was just grass, but it mattered because I put the effort into putting that down and kind of demarcation of space. And then suddenly someone was just completely disrespecting it and going, no, I'm having that. And it's that grabbing, it's that personal attack. It's all those this is the kind of feelings that get generated when your boundaries are crossed and your values are compromised. But if we're not clearly defining what they are, how can anyone know whether or not they are crossing those boundaries or compromising our values? Because their value code and moral code is just different. It's not better or worse, it's just different. We can't go through life blindly accepting or expecting that everyone's value code is the same, because it's just not, right? Inherently, people are good. The majority of people are good. So I believe it's not always done with bad intentions. Most things are done with pure intentions, even making mistakes. If you do it with a good intention, own the mistake and learn from it, right? Just don't get caught up and chewed up about the mistake because your intention was good. So when you have these boundaries or these lines and these chalking of the lines, what you're doing is you're stipulating your space, what's important to you, metaphorically, physically, emotionally. You are stating that this is where you are prepared to go. Beyond that is asking too much, is uncomfortable, right? It's something that you are not prepared to be or somewhere you are not prepared to go. But you're given that clarification. It's like, if you imagine living in a house that's purely made of glass, where would you dress? Where would you bath? Where would you shower? You know, because everyone can see in. So we need those boundaries. We need that level of safety and security. It goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is important stuff. But it's so easy to point the finger and not necessarily attack, but defensively attack, or even worse, internalize and go in and chew ourselves up because somebody's overstepped the mark. Somebody's disrespected us. Somebody's compromised our values. But we've never clearly chalked the lines so that they know. That's our responsibility. That's the bit that we can make a difference of. So firstly, you've got to chalk them. And then you've got to be prepared to re-chalk them, because the rain will come, life will happen, and you'll get busy, and slowly but surely, you'll take less priority on those things until enough occurrences or people have pushed you, and then you'll fight back. Because all of us, unless you're sadomasochistic, all of us move away from conflict. It's not a nice state to be, right? So none of us run towards conflict in that sense. So you have to re-chalk them because life just dampens them, right? Rubs them out. So sometimes you have to properly Samuel L. Jackson re-chalk those motherfucking lines, because you are allowing people to take the piss. You are allowing people to breach your lines. And sometimes that needs to be vocally done. Sometimes it needs to be physically done. But most of the time, it just needs to be emotionally done, because you get clarity in your thoughts and actions and your decisions at that point, because you go back to your safety and you work out. You go back to your place of comfort, then growth, right? It's understanding what's important to you and standing up for that. That's it. Re-chalk those lines. Peace out, guys. Have a good day. See you soon.